Jansin Turgut, first of all, thank you so much for joining me today on what no doubt is an emotional one.
No worries, thank you for having me.
Now, today marks a year exactly since you fell from the rooftop of a 3-story car park. It was a fall that saw you break both legs, you smashed your pelvis, fractured your lower back in 5 places, and you also broke every bone in your face. To see you sitting there today, smiling, to see the clips that you've posted on social media of you exercising, I mean, is it fair to say that your recovery is somewhat of a miracle?
I suppose you could put it like that, yeah. I'm just very grateful that, in my opinion, I think there's been a high power involved in giving me a second chance. And I'd like to give credit to, the surgeons and the staff that, especially in the hospitals, that have helped me out, in everywhere they could. My family, my mum, my dad, stepdad, my sister, all my loved ones and close friends as well. Also at the time, doing their bit, being there and supporting me. It'd have been impossible without them. But I'm also grateful for the people that, maybe wasn't there for me as well. And that's also done me a favour in other ways. So, I can just say that I'm grateful for everything that everyone's done, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. You have since opened up that you tried to take your own life on the 20th of May, 2019. Can we go back, Jansin, to where, I guess, the personal pain began?
It was probably one of those things where once you'd realised, you maybe had like a few things you was dealing with, it was quite far gone, and you didn't realise, you can't put a pin on when it really started, but, it could have been down to like your off-field life, maybe relationships, maybe how you're going out on nights out, maybe falling out with friends, falling out with family, even in terms of the job role. So as a rugby player, if you don't get picked, or you might not be getting offered a contract and things like that, pressure, stress, and it kind of just built up. And then, in the build for things, it probably led to where it led to, I think. And without knowing what I know now of how to deal with those things and how to manage your skills, and adapt to it, it can be a hard thing to deal with.
Did you ever ask for help?
I probably didn't realise that I maybe needed it as much as I thought I did. So I wasn't actively seeking it.
What do you think was the tipping point?
It's hard to say, because that's still a blur. Still parts of it are a blur, and I can't give an exact answer to that. So I can just presume that it's maybe down to the build-up of stress, anxiety. I've maybe faced depression, things like that, and not controlling the mental health aspect of things. So that's definitely something, in my opinion, that I'd say led to it.
A couple of weeks before you planned your trip to Ibiza, Salford, your club at the time, released you from your contract. When you were planning this trip, did you know how it would end?
It wasn't really a planned trip, to be honest. So obviously, once I'd been released from Salford, now I was probably didn't really know where I was at that moment, and I wanted a bit of time away. And I'd spoken with my friends, and maybe talked about going away and things like that. And that idea had been brought up, and it was kind of a last minute thing that went down. And then it was more of a how can I put it? Probably more of something to like forget about the situation at the time and go and enjoy myself. And maybe I didn't realise it could have brought out the negative thoughts rather than just, you know, I was probably forgetting and dismissing the situation rather than dealing with it and trying to, you know, have a good effect on it. It was probably more of a deterrent to forget about what I was actually thinking about at that moment in time, which could have intensified my thoughts and probably led to what it did.
If we do go back a year ago, what was different about that day?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
If we go back a year ago, what was different about the 20th of May 2019?
Like I said, basically, you know, my mental health, my mental awareness, you know, I probably thought when I was down or when I was having to deal with things that, oh, it's just a bad day, and I never really looked into, I could have been dealing with this, or I could have had this, you know, I could have had these symptoms. And maybe because of my lack of knowledge of knowing about that, I didn't know that I should have had to deal with those certain things. So definitely that, and you know, my mindset, maybe looking back now, if that was the case, you know, I'd been left, if someone's left a job, or you know, they face a little bit of adversity in their life, they have to deal with it and act productively rather than, you know, you have to address the situation, you know. And you know, I was actively doing that by looking for a club at the time, but by going away on holiday, I should have maybe done something a little bit different or a little bit more productive, instead of just forgetting about that exact point in time, if you get what I'm trying to say. You know, instead of masking the situation, deal with it and address it head on.
No doubt you've got regrets. I mean, hindsight is a beautiful thing, isn't it? If you could go back, not necessarily to that day, but just to that period of your life, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? What if knowing what I know now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, just my, you know, awareness and different things in terms of, especially in the sporting aspect. Some teams will tell you they'll do this for you, they'll do X, Y, Z, and then you could have built your hopes upon that happening, and then it might not happen, and then it kind of lets you down, and then you think, oh well, you know, if something else comes up, you might feel that that might not happen. That might not happen again because of the way that it turned out before, and can build your hopes up, and maybe not build my hopes up in terms of things like that. And just reiterating what I said before, dealing with mental health aspect of things, you know, and how I see things as well. So the mindset things, definitely something I'd do differently. The way that I looked at things, the way I interpreted different things, you know, what people say, what people do, and basically my own health, my own mental state as well.
We know that there's so many people out there who are suffering with mental health issues. If you could get a message to someone who might be facing the same demons as you, who might be considering taking their own life, what would that message be, Jansin?
100% it would be speak to somebody, you know, whether it's a close friend or it's a family member, a loved one, you know, somebody you can trust. It might not have to be, you know, professional. It might not have to be a counsellor. It might not have to be an organisation set up to go do that, depending on where they're at. But that's something that only that person will know. So they'll have to go down the route to find that within themselves, you know. And those places are open to help people, and it doesn't make you, you know, weak. That's one of the things around sportsmen now, especially, you know, the macho front and things like that, that you look inadequate or you look weak if you speak about things like that. But all you're doing is, if you're helping yourself, you're bettering yourself, so you're making yourself stronger. So, you know, it's definitely talk, I'd say. Even if it's asking somebody for an opinion, they might be able to give you not the answer you're looking for, but the answer that you need to hear. And, you know, they could advise you on what you should do moving forward, and hopefully support you. If you're needing to go see someone, they could tell you that they'll come with you and give you that support, so you feel more confident in going to receive the help that you might need.
Yeah. What kind of help did you and are you receiving to, you know, make sure that you remain mentally strong?
So when I first came out of hospital, I was seeing somebody regularly, a couple of times a week, like counselling, just to speak about my feelings and try to, you know, resolve and work out why I felt how I felt. Because, like I said to you, at that time, I wasn't knowledgeable enough to maybe understand why I was feeling a certain way and things like that. So you're only educating yourself on certain things realistically, and and then obviously I've been to Andy's Man Club, which is a group organisation, which are really helpful, and you know, they've helped me massively as well. A lot of people go, you know, and whether you have mental health issues or you just wanting some, you know, wanting to get things off your chest and prevent yourself getting to that point, they help a lot of people. So I'd say it's them two mainly, apart from my physical, my physiotherapy and my physical improvements.
I want to talk about your recovery in a minute. You've already mentioned the support that your family and friends have given you and are giving you. The rugby league community also gave you so much support, and you also got a very special message from Tyson Fury, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I remember being laid in my hospital bed, and when my friends and family came and my loved ones, and was showing me the pictures from the Magic weekend and all the banners and things like that, and the different things, you know, players had donated shirts, players had helped when they'd won the man of the match, you know, man of the match sponsorships and things like that. You know, and seeing those things and everything from the rugby league community has been massive, and I think it's a, you know, credit to the sport, and it says a lot about the, you know, the people and the players and the environment has been massive. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, Tyson Fury, I'm a big boxing fan. Probably down to my dad. My dad enjoyed boxing when he was younger, and you know, tried getting me into it as I was growing up now and again. And he's one of my favourite fighters. Is Tyson Fury. So it was really nice to see, and you know, as a fellow sportsman who's also been through, you know, his up and down of emotions and mental health problems as well. It was really positive and something I took a lot from.
We've seen clips of you exercising. You look fantastic. How is your recovery going? Where are you at the moment?
Thank you. Yeah, it's been going really well. I've been going to see Paul Hatton, who's the conditioner at Hull FC. You know, I've known him a long while, and he's helping me out a lot. And my friend Jay Bell, he has his own gym. Excuse me, and he's been helping me out. You know, with weight training and building my strength back up. And you know, I'm really appreciative of them people and everybody else that's been helping as well. and it's you know, it's on its way. It's not quite where I want to be, but maybe that's just my personality. You know, as I like to be ambitious and optimistic. You know, just like I was when I was playing and things like that. And you know, it's on the right path. But until I'm doing exactly what I was able to do before, or if not better, I don't think I'll be settled yet.
Well, let's look to the future. Is rugby league in it?
I don't see why it couldn't be. I don't know if I'll be playing, but it'll definitely be in my future in some point. you know, I was speaking with my friends and family a couple of days ago, and the surgeons that actually did the work on my knees and legs in Ibiza said that, oh, he'll walk again, but you know, he'll struggle going upstairs and things like that. And you know, I only learnt how to walk again 9 months ago, and thankfully I've been doing some stair sessions as fitness and not just struggling to get up them. And you know, my return to running is in a process. I'm building the strength back up, so it's looking a lot more fortunate, you know, months down the line than where it was maybe this time last year. So I'm just hopeful.
Yeah. You've mentioned your passion for boxing. I understand that before the pandemic, hopefully it will still go ahead, but you put your hand up to box in a charity match to raise funds for Rob Burrow and Mossy Masoi. That's exciting.
Yeah, boxing is something that's interested me as a kid, really. But obviously, when I had to make the choice, you know, the training days fell on the same day when I was younger, so it was it was a no-brainer to pick rugby, really, because you know it was my love and it was what I wanted to do. I tried to train in off-season and try and, you know, maybe bring it in with my training, but it was too difficult, and I wanted to just stay focused on trying to be a professional rugby league player. And then, yeah, I just kind of refound the passion for that, as I didn't have really, you know, I didn't have rugby in my life at that time, you know, after my fall. So when I had the opportunity to do that and, you know, to raise it for Rob Burrow and Mossy Masoi, were two people that, you know, I've idolised growing up and I've seen play. And, you know, things I thought of it on the basis of when I needed the help and support from other people. People had done things for me that I'd have never expected, or, you know, and there might be people that I've never met or I don't even know. So, you know, for me to do something to somebody else that needs it at that, you know, that time, it was a no-brainer, really.
Jansin Turgut, where do we see you in 5 years' time?
Where do we see me? I'd like to be definitely love to be in and around the sport and the, you know, the athlete lifestyle, whether that's playing, whether it's, you know, coaching, whether it's, you know, training. I don't know what exactly it is right now. But I do know that I'd like it to be within sport, and I'd like to be helping people that have been through or are going through, you know, the process of mental health and learning and understanding about themselves.
Well, Jansin, whether we see you back on the rugby pitch or in a boxing ring, I hope that you're happy. Thank you so much for being so honest with me today.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.